as the Iran-Israel conflict enters its 8th straight day. Iran state media claims it foiled an assassination attempt on Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. A top advisor to the minister, Mohammad Hussein Rang Baran, says intelligence agents intercepted the plot in Tehran days ago. He described it as a devastating plot and accused Israel of masterminding the attack. Araghchi has now ruled out any talks with the US, is what he told state television, that, quote, America is a partner to Israeli crimes against Iran. He says no dialogue is possible until Israel halts its attacks. Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi says there will be no talks with the United States while Israeli strikes continue, calling America a partner in Israel's attacks against Iran. Here's what the Iranian Foreign Minister had to say.
تکلیف رو بگذارید روشن بکنم. ما در شرایط حاضر و در شرایطی که تهاجمات رژیم صهیونیستی ادامه داره خواهان مذاکره با هیچ کسی نیستیم. و آمریکا یعنی در خصوص این موضوع با هیچ کسی ما خواهان مذاکره نیستیم. آمریکایی‌ها خواهان مذاکره هستند. چند بار هم پیام دادن. پیام‌های خیلی جدی هم دادند. ولی ما صراحتاً به اونها گفتیم که تا وقتی که این تهاجم و تجاوز متوقف نشه اصولاً حرف از گفتگو زدن، حرف از دیپلماسی زدن جایی نداره. ما در حال دفاع مشروع هستیم از خودمون و دفاع به هیچ وجه متوقف نمیتونه بشه. و با آمریکا به عنوان شریک این جنایات هم.
Now on the military front, Israel continues its military campaign inside Iran. The Israeli army says it struck dozens of targets in the Iranian capital, including a center tied to Iran's nuclear weapons research. Tel Aviv defends the strikes as necessary to halt Iran's missile and nuclear capabilities. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has warned that Hezbollah against joining the war, saying Israel has lost patience with terrorists and will respond forcefully if threatened from Lebanon. In response, Iran activated air defences over Tehran. The Red Crescent says 5 hospitals were damaged and it plans to report the incident to the international prosecutors. Araghchi says Iran will not hold talks with the US until Israel's aggression stops. This comes as the White House says President Trump will decide within 2 weeks whether the US will enter the war. Now in Geneva, British Foreign Secretary David Lammy is meeting with his EU and Iranian counterparts to push for de-escalation. The UK and US both say Iran must never obtain a nuclear weapon. Germany says it's open to further talks if Iran shows seriousness about providing nuclear assurances. Berlin urges diplomacy amid growing tensions. We're now joined by Rohan Gunaratne, who's a Middle East affairs and international affairs expert. He's located in Singapore. Rohan, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. I first of all want to start with this alleged assassination plot against Iran's top diplomat, Mr. Abbas Araghchi. How credible are these claims, especially as they've come directly from Iran?
It is very credible because Israel has a very clear plan to dismantle not only the military and the defense industrial complex, especially the nuclear and the missile capabilities, but also to target the political leadership. So the next wave of attacks that Israel will mount and has mounted is to eliminate the political and the religious leadership that governs Iran, because Israel is determined for there to be a regime change, and the regime change will take place only if the tier 1 leadership is eliminated, and Israel is now moving in that direction in many ways, very similar to what they did with the Lebanese Hezbollah of eliminating 2 successive Secretary Generals.
Now, Rohan, we'll move on to Europe in a minute, and Geneva in particular, but Iran has stated that they will not negotiate with the United States until Israel stops its attacks. Can Iran afford to make a decision like this amidst the bombardment that they are facing?
Israel will continue to dismantle the Iranian defense, military, intelligence infrastructure. Israel will not stop its offensive. And at some point, the United States will join because the Israeli capabilities are insufficient to dismantle the nuclear infrastructure that is located in certain mountains. So to reach those facilities, US is very likely to join, and there are very clear indications US and British capabilities are moving. Both aviation and maritime capabilities are now moving to the Middle Eastern region. Iran has no escape from the wrath of Israel and of Western nations because they are aware of Iran's fissile and missile capabilities.
Now, Rohan, we have not seen any conflict between them two thus far in regards to this specific situation. However, we've had statements from both Hezbollah and Israel. Hezbollah saying it certainly isn't neutral in this conflict, and Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz saying that stopping Hezbollah from getting involved. It hasn't yet entered the conflict, but how likely is it that Hezbollah, the Iran-backed proxy group, does enter this conflict?
Hezbollah has been severely weakened. It has been crippled. Hezbollah is unable to be an aggressive proxy of Iran anymore. And Israel has developed a strategy of conducting preemptive strikes wherever there is a threat to Israel. So it has, in the last 24 hours, attacked Hezbollah buildup. So Israel's now strategy and mindset is to dismantle a threat anywhere. But in the last 24 hours, we have seen another proxy, which is based in Iraq, that has a strength of over 10,000 fighters, threatening not only Israel, but threatening Western forces, threatening the Americans and the Europeans from getting involved in this fight. So it is so important for the international community now to work together to ensure that these proxies are dismantled so that we will have a new Middle East, a Middle East where there is peace and stability and security.
Now, Rohan, moving over to these talks in Geneva, we have UK and EU foreign ministers there, along with, as we've said previously, Iran's top diplomat, Abbas Araghchi. Could this be a realistic pathway to de-escalation? What are they expecting? What are the individuals at these talks expecting to get out of them?
Israel has a very clear plan to ensure there's regime change, to oust the existing regime. But certainly the European leaders are determined for there to be a negotiated settlement. I personally believe, having studied this conflict in great detail, that the timeline is over. And what is going to happen is the Americans will start their campaign in the coming days, and they will not stop short of regime change. President Trump has already said that he wants an unconditional surrender on the part of the Iranian leadership.
Professor Rohan Gunaratne, thank you very much for